Hey, Alan, how's it going? Alan's for you guys that don't follow Alan and his wife on Facebook. Alan's a bachelor today. He's got the house to himself. Wife's down in Florida shopping for yachts. Um, so yeah, so Alan's having a party over there. So um, we've just been watching the after hours ticker of Google, which reported earnings after the bell. It's been quite an interesting fight. Seems like a battle or 2300. So it'll be interesting what happens tomorrow morning. They did announce a stock buyback, which should help. I don't know, Alan, is it think we've had
Oh, well, let's look at the calls. So the big thing is let's go to the calls while you had that on the screen. And so what I was telling Brian is that when you see a position where there's no calls, so what you're looking for is those big boxes.
Yeah.
So the deep in the money is 2,400. Your hammer's at 2,350. The follow through is 2,300. Now it did a good job because it was down to 2,250. But what I was doing is I was telling Brian, I says, I'll show you that it should only be going down to 2307 if you bring up that chart.
Yeah, and this is Fidelity here. This is what Fidelity does for you is highlight the bigger position.
And the key thing is there was no money in the calls.
Yeah.
So it was broadcast. I mean, there's nothing there. There's no big boxes at all.
Yeah, let's do the math quickly here. 518.
Oh my gosh, and 514.
Let's just round it up to $100.
Not $100. That's $100,000.
So $5.1 million sitting here at the 2,400 puts.
Well, actually, there's 5 each side, so it's 10 million.
Oh,
that's a lot of money, knowing that it's going down. That's 10 million.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I should try to dig it out. Because we used to look at these earning plays 3-4 years.
Yeah, that was my bread and butter for years.
Yeah, and I have a spreadsheet somewhere where you can basically copy these values, paste them into a spreadsheet, and it would calculate the dollar.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah, I used to have that. I should find that to see, because it's an easy way to say, here's your in the money amount, here's your out of the money amount on both the calls and put side. It was a relatively quick way to see where the actual money was.
Yeah, this one was so telegraphed. I mean, I do see there's no calls. I mean, there's no calls. I mean, the thing is so what I like to do is first of all, your calls would have been at 2380. So so this one's at 2400. You're 2380. How much you got? 61 calls. Give me a break. That's 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Right. Look at that. That's 10 times the other one. Then if you go down to 2350, now that's comparable to 2450. You got a little money there.
55 versus 120.
Yeah, it's not bad. But see, basically those are kind of a stalemate there. You see how they're kind of the same. It's the same. The thing that drove this one was the deep in the money puts. You probably even got some more if you bring it down a little bit. I mean, you got a pretty good position. You got a couple big positions there. If you go up a little bit, that 249 was a pretty heavy position, which should have been it right there. I mean, that's $160,000 a contract at 2,500. Oh my gosh! So you got 300 at 159,000 each. So 300 times 150,000. You're talking 47 million.
Yeah.
whatever, 47 mil. Yeah, it's, but you know, I told Brian, I says, Brian, it's gonna go to 2307. Let's take a look at that on the graph. The important part when you're gonna play earnings is you have to know where it's gonna run to. And the thing is that if you look at this, without even looking at the numbers, I went ahead and looked at that, basically the end of the day channel. And you can see the dotted line at the bottom. Now, if you go to the amount, it's 2307. So the issue is, I guarantee you, if you go to after hours, it probably hit 2257 and bounced. Because when I was looking at it, it was down $140. So 2257 is probably right there. Let me just see. That's funny how it never shows you what it was.
Yeah.
So Google right now is at 23.19. It was down $70 more than that. 19 minus 70.
So
22.49.
Yeah.
So you were right there. You might have caught the bottom of that. You just dropped it just a little bit to the bottom of that, but there's no mystery that, yeah, right there. Yeah, that's about, yeah, I think could have been there, but it bounced off of 22.49, so 22.50. Let's see where that is. It's probably a little bit, keep going. Oh, right there. Yeah, you see how that's going to the bottom of those?
Yeah.
That's your bottom. So
Yeah, because we broke above and then here we bounced around this line, bounced between the two lines.
now, if I was a betting man, you take half of the number where it's at now, which it's at. This is how it should work. So it's at 2320. You take the difference between 2320 and 2648, because that's where it's going to go to eventually, and minus 2320. You divide that by half, 164. 2648 minus 164. Well, it's going to try to get to 2484. If not tomorrow, by the end of the week. Where's that going to take you? Oh, that's pretty much where it played out today. Drop that up a little bit. So it's called a retracement. You should get about half. It's going to go 2484, yeah, right there. Now there it is. See how it's going to the bottom of that one? The one in the middle of the screen. That's taking you right to 2484. But see how it that's the next resistance point is at 2485.
Yeah.
See it? It's good. That's that bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there.
We bounced.
So now I think, again, you gotta let all the stuff pull out of that stock, all the liquidity value. But I think we go. I think it's going to go up tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, between the buyback and everything, I mean, I think it beat its earnings, right?
Let's see here.
I mean, what excuses are they using today? You know, the funny thing is, I thought I told everybody to short UPS. That does it every time. I was just thinking about that one. I mean, it started up $6, and then within 3 minutes, it was down $6.
Looking at expected earnings and revenue for the first quarter.
They don't even make sense. How could it miss?
YouTube. Yeah, they're blaming YouTube on it, on big YouTube miss.
Oh, what was the YouTube numbers?
Let's slow down.
The cloud revenue was good.
YouTube.
Yeah, that's where they lost it.
Yeah. 5, 6, 7, so $0.8 billion.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody knows. I mean, like Netflix. Everybody's watched every video, every TV show, everything on Netflix. There's nothing to watch. Cancel. Because the thing is that, it was a pandemic thing. Everybody was watching, Netflix. Well, YouTube's the same way. It's the same revenue stream. I watch YouTube just like I do, regular TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of
YouTube's got everything. Every YouTube's got everything you want on it, and Premium's got every, news station there is. I watch ABC News every morning on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
The joke is it was the night before, but
yeah, right. Yeah,
it's not live unless you want the premium, but still.
well, yeah, we're a YouTube subscriber, or YouTube TV, they call it, subscribers. So yeah, we get local news, we get the Bucks games.
That's great.
And speaking of YouTube, you guys all subscribe to my channel, because that helps me, lets me know that you guys are out there. So yeah, you guys keep watching YouTube, because our content.
I support your channel, Brian.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We'll see where we're going with this channel. So, but yeah, it's a treat to do these weekly podcasts. So
yeah, I look forward to it.
Quite the interesting thing. So yeah, Google will be interesting, because and honestly, the only other thing they could have done is to call a stock split, and that would have basically skyrocketed the stock, I believe.
Well, there's such pessimism right now. I don't think anything would help anything right now.
Yeah, and speaking of that, there's and I'm going to call him out because he's an incredible trader. Dennis Prost, if you guys aren't friends with him on Facebook, do so. Posted and he does this regularly, posts thoughts on the market through their PVG asset management. And I think what he said that although we're not quite in a recession yet, I think the big operative word being yet, I think they see further downfall, or I think they see the market sliding. What I saw today on the SPX.
So do you want to know why the market's sliding? What causes the market to slide?
No buyers.
No, high interest rates.
Oh, yeah.
So what it is the borrowing costs go up. The costs to do business go up. And they're talking about a double increase on the interest rate. So, I was watching on CNBC the other day, and they were talking about, Google's down 200 points. That's because of high interest rates. They were actually saying it on TV, but the point is that we're in a tough situation because inflation is out of control. Interest rates are going up. The debt, issues go up with that too. But
yeah,
I don't know. We're in an interesting market. Now, Visa, did you see what happened with Visa? Bring up the option on Visas.
Yeah, and before we do that, so here's the 10, the 20, and the 50 moving averages, and look at how negative these are, or how downward sloping these are. And here the 20 is going to cross the 50 pretty soon. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But it's
with high interest rates, Visa should do pretty well because it's tied to it.
And they say it's easier to make money in a down market, down towards turning market, than it is in an upturning market, because nobody's nobody's forcing anybody to buy stock, but when you get margin calls, when you have to sell, you have to sell. So there's, what's the old adage? Take the escalator up and the elevator down, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, as it drops, kind of take advantage of that. This is Visa's options.
And you see the big number at 220? That's where you're at in aftermarket.
Visa. Oh yeah, 210. I think it slid a
Yeah,
little.
so right now it's right at 210.
Yeah.
No big surprise. The issue is that now, again, if you're looking at the values, now what happened is why this one's a little bit goofy is because Visa dropped $8 today. So if it didn't drop, all those were in the money earlier in the day.
And these would have been out of the money. This 4,000
Yeah.
here, yeah.
Yeah. So that all went with the drop. But I guarantee you, because you do have a bunch of money there, I guarantee if you bring up the graph, you'll see that basically it doesn't go below 200. Well, yeah, look at today, it didn't go under 200. So that's the bottom. It's where people say enough is enough. See it right there, right at 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where it's got some support right there. Yeah, it could have gone to 190, but no, it held on. Oh, you know what? Right there, that's because there's a you see where you had the gap there. So how this works is wherever you have a big gap, then what happens is, no, keep going further. Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah.
So what it is that the bottom is the bottom of where it's usually going to go. You see that? And then I bet you if you go to the top of that, I'm sorry, the bottom of that one right there, that's probably where about 210 is. That's going to be close. But see what it is it gives you a channel. Yeah.
And those are usually earnings gaps.
Yeah, because it gapped up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how these computers know all this stuff. So sweet. Hey, well, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Great talking to you.
Yeah, definitely.
I will wait for the Apple blessings and favor.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they we're still in review. I have a feeling there's a deadline as of yesterday. April 25th, Xcode 13. Long story short is that it, in my iMac as well, became obsolete because you can't upgrade. I can't upgrade high enough to support that new version of Xcode. So I have a feeling that a lot of developers rush to beat that deadline. And I have a feeling that there's a backlog of app reviews. But, like Alan had said before, and I have said before, no news is good news. The test version is still out there. And if you're having issues with it, or if you don't have the email, let me know, reach out to me, because I can send you a link to do that. Personally, I use the Android version. Not sure why, I just find it easier. I find it more stable. I can swipe to delete. So yeah, knock on wood, keep saying your prayers to Apple that we get approved, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you guys found this informational, especially with earnings. I'm going to go dig up that spreadsheet maybe share that. And hopefully you guys have a good night. You know, what we should do is check out Earnings Whisper to see what's coming up.
Well, Visa was coming up.
Visas, or what's coming up?
Well, Visa, but it did it after hours.
Oh, you mean the stock? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so use these, I don't want to call them tricks because they're really not tricks. These
Techniques.
techniques, thank you. As far as looking at the option volume and looking at the long-term charts to see where earnings might push these stocks. So
Mhm.
with that, have a good night, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.